The chamber went silent, then exploded. A Republican lawmaker thought she could steamroll the truth, but Jasmine Crockett wasn't having it. In a room thick with tension, every eye shifted to the Texas Congresswoman, her posture straight, her gaze unshaken. On the other side sat a Republican opponent, smirking, dismissive, already convinced she could spin lies into power. But Crockett's presence was electric, the kind of calm that signals a storm about to break. The Republican fired off accusations, her words sharp but empty. And for a split second, it looked like the same old spectacle, another attempt to drown truth beneath arrogance. Yet something was different this time. Crockett's silence wasn't retreat, it was precision, waiting for the exact moment to strike. And when it came, the room erupted into disbelief. What followed was more than a rebuttal, it was a dismantling. A confrontation so raw, it would leave millions gasping online. But the real fireworks hadn't even begun. It started with a lie dressed up as certainty. The Republican, leaning into the microphone with smug authority, claimed that Democrats were hiding the truth, twisting facts to protect their own. She delivered her words like verdicts, dripping with arrogance, as if repetition alone could make them real. The chamber buzzed with unease, some nodding along, others exchanging glances, weary of the theater. But Jasmine Crockett was not rattled. She sat poised, her hands folded, her face betraying nothing but a steady fire building behind her eyes. This wasn't her first encounter with political theater, and she understood the stakes. Where the Republicans spewed reckless claims, Crockett embodied restraint and preparation. Every second she held back only amplified the suspense. Everyone expected her to fold under the weight of bluster. Instead, she leaned in, ready to cut through the fog with clarity. And then, the meltdown began. Crockett's voice cut through the chamber like a blade, measured, deliberate, and impossible to ignore. With each word, she dismantled the falsehoods that had been hurled her way, piece by piece, as if pulling the thread of a badly woven lie until it unraveled in plain sight. Her tone was steady, unshaken, yet carried a force that made the room lean in. The Republican tried to interrupt, her voice rising, desperate to claw back control. But the more she shouted, the smaller she seemed. Crockett didn't flinch. She pressed forward, her rebuttals sharp as steel, her facts undeniable, across the chamber. Murmurs rippled, staffers exchanged stunned glances. A few suppressed smiles broke through. Online, Twitter was already ablaze, clips spreading at light. Speed, captions reading, "This is how it's done." Each sentence from Crockett hit harder than the last. It wasn't just argument, it was demolition, clean and merciless. By the end, the Republican's composure was cracking, her voice strained, her face flushed. Crockett, meanwhile, stood unbothered, every word landing like a hammer of truth. It was surgical, devastating, dismantling in real time. But Crockett wasn't finished. What she said next turned a meltdown into a masterclass. By now, the Republican's voice had lost its edge. What began as smug certainty had unraveled into stammering and half-formed rebuttals. Her words collided awkwardly, desperate attempts to claw back the authority she'd squandered. The louder she grew, the more it revealed this wasn't strength. It was panic. The chamber could feel it. Control was gone, slipping through her hands with every flustered interruption. Crockett seized the moment. She leaned forward, her tone unshaken, wielding evidence like a torch in the dark. Where her opponent offered noise, Crockett offered receipts. Every statement was grounded, deliberate, and final. It was like watching a castle crumble under one. Strike stone by stone, the illusion of dominance collapsed, and then came the silence. The Republican's face flushed, her eyes darting, searching for an escape that never came. Around them, the ripple effect began. Gasps, laughter, a swell of murmurs that carried the weight of judgment. Beyond those walls, headlines were already forming, memes already spreading. Viewers across the nation were leaning in, reliving the moment again and again, savoring the catharsis of arrogance exposed. Jasmine Crockett hadn't just won an argument. She had stripped away the mask of power and revealed the fragility beneath. But beyond the chamber walls, the impact was only just beginning. In the hours that followed, the clip spread like wildfire. Social media lit up with praise, hashtags. Bearing Crockett's name surged, and commentators marveled at how one moment of clarity cut through weeks of noise. News outlets replayed the exchange on loop, while millions of viewers shared it as proof that truth still had a champion in the halls of power. What made it resonate wasn't just the spectacle, it was the principle. In the face of arrogance and deception, Crockett showed that dignity could be louder than shouting, and truth could be sharper than lies. She reminded the nation that composure isn't weakness, it's strength. That standing firm is not only an act of resistance, but an act of leadership in that moment. Crockett wasn't just speaking for herself, she was speaking for every American who refuses to be silenced. And if this was just one takedown, imagine what's coming next.